The golden light of an autumn afternoon painted Central Park as Victoria Chambers settled onto a bench, a stolen moment away from the glass and steel of her corner office. At 37, she commanded Chambers Media Group, a kingdom she had built from the ground up. Yet the throne felt cold. Success had brought with it a stark solitude, a void that professional triumphs could never hope to fill. She was lost in the endless scroll of emails when a small, sweet voice broke through her reverie. "Excuse me, pretty lady." Victoria looked up, her breath catching in her throat. A little girl stood before her, no older than 3, with curls the color of sunshine. She wore a pink dress and a white cardigan, clutching a well-loved teddy bear. But it wasn't the child's innocent charm that stole Victoria's breath. It was the necklace she wore, a gold locket, intricately etched with a rose, dangling from a delicate chain. Victoria knew that locket. She had relinquished it 5 years ago, under circumstances that still haunted the edges of her dreams. "Hello?" Victoria managed, her voice a fragile whisper. "Are you here with someone?" The little girl nodded towards a young woman sitting on a nearby bench, watching them with gentle attentiveness. "That's Miss Sarah. She's my nanny. But I wanted to talk to you because you look sad, and my mommy says we should try to make sad people feel better." "That's very kind of you," Victoria said, unable to tear her gaze from the necklace. "What's your name?" "I'm Emma," the little girl announced proudly. "I'm 3.5 years old. What's your name?" "I'm Victoria." "That's a beautiful necklace you're wearing, Emma." Emma touched the locket with reverence. "My mommy gave it to me before she went to heaven. Daddy says it was very special to her, that it was a gift from someone important. I wear it every day so mommy can be close to me." Tears stung Victoria's eyes. 5 years ago, she had made the most agonizing decision of her life. She had given up her daughter for adoption. At 29, she was a fledgling CEO. Her boyfriend had vanished at the first hint of pregnancy. Terrified and alone, she had convinced herself that she could not provide the life her baby deserved. The adoption had been closed, but Victoria had entrusted one item to her daughter's new family, the gold rose locket her own mother had given her. It was the only thing of true sentimental value she possessed. "Emma, sweetheart, where's your father?" Victoria asked, her voice trembling. "He's coming," Emma said. "He had to get my toy from the car, but I wanted to ask you something. Can you be my mom for just one day? Daddy's sad because I don't have a mommy, and I'm sad too. If you could be my mommy for just today, maybe we could all be happy together." The innocent plea shattered something within Victoria. This was her daughter, this precious child with her golden curls, her beloved teddy bear, and her boundless empathy, was the baby she had held for a mere 10 minutes before whispering a tearful goodbye. "Emma," a man's voice called out. Victoria looked up to see a man approaching, his face etched with a gentle concern. He was handsome in a rugged, approachable way. "I've told you not to bother strangers." He reached them and took Emma's hand. "I'm so sorry. She's very friendly and sometimes doesn't understand boundaries." Victoria stood, and as she did, the man's gaze locked onto hers. His expression shifted from polite apology to stunned recognition. "Victoria," he whispered, the name a breath of disbelief. Victoria stared at him, and the scattered pieces of her past clicked into place. Andrew Chin. They had known each other briefly years ago, working at the same company before she had ventured out to create her own. She hadn't seen him since, hadn't known he held a piece of her heart in his hands. "You adopted Emma," Victoria said, the words not a question but a quiet acknowledgement of fate. Andrew's eyes moved from the locket around Emma's neck back to Victoria, understanding blossoming in his gaze. "You're Emma's birth mother. You left this for her." Confusion clouded Emma's face. "You know each other?" Andrew knelt to Emma's level. "Emma, sweetheart, can you go play with Miss Sarah for a few minutes? I need to talk to this lady about something important." Emma hesitated, then nodded and skipped back to her nanny. Andrew and Victoria sat on the bench, a careful space between them, each struggling to absorb the weight of the moment. "My wife and I adopted Emma when she was 3 days old," Andrew said softly. "The adoption agency said the birth mother was young, scared, wanted a better life for her baby. They gave us the locket with strict instructions that Emma should have it when she was old enough to understand. My wife, Rebecca, she treasured that locket. When she was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago, one of the first things she did was put it around Emma's neck. She died 6 months later. Tears streamed down Victoria's face. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I never knew who adopted her, where she went, if she was happy. She's been very happy, Andrew said. Rebecca and I loved her from the moment we saw her. We gave her everything we could. But losing Rebecca was devastating for both of us. Emma asks about her mother every day, and I don't know how to fill that void. When I gave her up, Victoria said, her voice thick with emotion, I was 29, alone, terrified. I had just started my company, had no support system, no money. I convinced myself I was doing the right thing, giving her to people who could provide for her better than I could. But I've regretted it every day since. I've built this successful company, achieved everything I set out to achieve, and none of it matters because I gave away the only thing that was truly precious. Andrew was quiet for a long moment. Emma asked you to be her mother for a day. What if I asked you to be her mother for longer than that? Victoria looked at him in shock. What? I've been alone with Emma for 18 months, Andrew said. I'm trying my best, but I'm drowning. She needs a mother figure, someone who can teach her things I can't. And you're her birth mother. You gave her that locket because it was precious to you. Maybe this isn't a coincidence. Maybe this is fate giving you all a second chance. You can't be serious, Victoria whispered. You don't know anything about me now. I'm a workaholic CEO who barely has time to eat, let alone raise a child. Then maybe it's time to reprioritize, Andrew said gently. I'm not asking you to decide right now. I'm asking you to consider getting to know Emma. Let her get to know you. See if maybe what she needs and what you need are the same thing. Over the following weeks, Victoria began spending time with Andrew and Emma. At first, it was just afternoon visits to the park, then dinners, then weekends. Emma was drawn to Victoria with an instinct that felt like recognition. Although the child had no memory of being held by her birth mother as a newborn, Victoria learned that Emma loved stories and painting and asking endless questions about everything. Andrew learned that Victoria had spent 5 years building a media empire while grieving the daughter she thought she would never see again. That her success had been driven by the need to prove she could have given her daughter a good life if she had kept her. 6 months after that first meeting in the park, Andrew asked Victoria to move in with them, not as a romantic partner, but as Emma's mother. 3 months after that, they fell in love, discovering that the bond formed through shared love for Emma had evolved into something deeper. A year after Victoria sat on that park bench and saw her daughter wearing her mother's locket, Andrew proposed to Victoria in the same spot, with Emma holding the rings and announcing to everyone around that her mommy and daddy were getting married. You asked me to be your mom for just one day? Victoria said to Emma on their wedding day. Both of them wearing matching dresses, Emma's small hands wrapped around the gold locket. And I'm going to be your mom for the rest of your life if that's okay with you. That's very okay, Emma said, her eyes shining with joy. Seriously, I knew you were my mommy the first time I saw you. The necklace told me. Sometimes the things we give away find their way back to us, carrying with them second chances we thought we had lost forever. And sometimes a child's simple request for one day of love opens the door to a lifetime of it, healing wounds we thought were permanent and building families from the broken pieces of our past.